Can anyone really be scammed by a Filipina? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that no man should ever be scammed by a Filipina. So if you want to find out exactly why I say that no man should ever be scammed by a Filipina and what you can do to ensure that you're never scammed by a Filipina, then be sure to stay tuned. Now, there are so many stories out there of foreign men, sometimes and probably mostly older foreign men, who get involved online with a Filipina in what they call a dating relationship. And before too long, we find out the relationship didn't last, maybe after just a few weeks or even a few months. And now the foreign man is crying foul of the Filipina, saying that she scammed him all along. Now, there's no doubt that these things certainly happen because it's well documented. But the bottom line here is the man is responsible for himself to protect himself. It's not like that it's hidden that some Filipinas will be out to scam foreign guys. No, not at all. We hear about it all the time. Any man who goes looking for a Filipina to be in a relationship with, especially when it's online, needs to put boundaries and rules in place to protect himself. If he fails to do this, then the man is at fault. I'll say that again. If he fails to do this, the man is the one at fault. We know that there's Filipinas out there who are looking to scam. We know that. That's a given. So a Filipina is only attempting to scam the man. She's not scamming him. The man is scamming himself. Now let's compare that with buying a second-hand car. You go to buy a second-hand car. Are you going to just take the sales agent's word that, yeah, it's a great car, never a problem? Or are you going to have it looked at and you're going to inspect it yourself and get a proper mechanic to look over it? Well, if you fail to do that and the car turns out to be no good, then who's at fault here? The sales agent for selling you a car he probably knew was defective, or yourself for not taking the appropriate precautions to protect yourself so you don't lose the money onto a bad car. It's no different than when you're looking to date a Filipina that you protect yourself and you do what you need to do to make sure that you're not going to be scammed. It's not a hard thing to do. Now, why is it that many men go through the dating process of finding a Filipina online and yet never ever get scammed? Or even if they're meeting them in person and they never get scammed because they have their rules in place to protect themselves. And again, I'll say any man who doesn't have those rules in place for himself and follow those, he is the one responsible for bad choices in giving over the money. Let's be honest here. A Filipina is not holding a gun at your head. She may be using emotional tricks, or she may be very good at convincing you that she's in love with you and all this sort of stuff. But if you have your rules in place where you say, okay, firstly, I'm only going to consider her as a chat mate, someone I'm getting to know on the computer, and that won't change until I meet her in person and spend a good amount of quality time with her in the Philippines and possibly even in your country, then that may change to a dating relationship. That's the first rule you've got to put in place. Don't allow your emotions, which are triggered by what she's saying and doing, and of course your ego, allow you to make these mistakes of sending her money. That should not happen until you're very solid with this relationship. And if you hand over that money to a Filipina, that's your mistake. You haven't been scammed. That's your mistake for not protecting yourself. So I really get tired of hearing these stories about these foreign men, usually older, lonely foreign men who may be a little bit desperate. And yes, I do feel for them, but they haven't protected themselves. They've come in contact with a Filipina who's usually quite beautiful and she's very charming and she'll say and do all the right things. She may even give the old man a little sneakaboo of what she's got hidden under those clothes and all this sort of stuff just to get him hooked with her. And once he drops his guard, then she's got him in the palm of her hand and she can name her price. And if you want to call that being scammed, go right ahead, because you've allowed that scam to happen. As I say, same as buying a car. If you get scammed buying a car because you buy a dud and you never protected yourself in the first place, that's on you. Now, the truth here is that most of these Filipino love scams are not overly high tech. And yes, there are many types of Filipino love scams you've got to watch out for. It's not just the single Filipina who's looking to scam you online. It can also happen in person in the Philippines. And there's also Filipinas out there who may be married with kids, husband, the whole thing, and the husband's in on it so that she can scam you to get money for the family. This does happen quite a bit. And of course, there's also lady boys out there who may be pretending to be a woman to try and scam you, or there could even be guys out there who are pretending to be a woman, and you wonder why you never get to see them on camera. And all you ever see is maybe a few pictures of someone they claim is them. So you see, there's many types of different scams going on around getting money from you online in the Philippines. And this is why I say you take your time online to get to know the Filipina, then you get over there to try and spend some time with her, get to know her friends, her family, and so on, because you'll be surprised if she's not who she says she is, and you can talk to the family, because most Filipino families do speak some English and you can converse. And if not her family, well, then certainly her friends. You'll be surprised what information you can pick up from them. And of course, you need to be watching her body language. So when you're talking online and you're with her in person, always watch her body language, whether that's genuine, it's congruent with what she's saying and doing. And remember the stories she's telling you about herself and her life. And if that changes over time, then that should be raising a red flag right there that the stories are not consistent. But the main thing is you've got to keep your emotions in check. Don't allow yourself to fall immediately in love with this beautiful young thing who's clearly playing to your ego. She wants you to think, oh, how could such a young, beautiful Filipina want me? This is like a dream come true. But you allow yourself to think that way and then to feel that way. Then, of course, she starts to give you these stories about her hardships in life or her grandmother who's sick and so on. And you feel then compelled to send her money. Now, I've heard guys say that they never felt that they were being scammed by the Filipina at the time. They just wanted to help her out because of these stories and they felt sorry for the Filipina. Well, that was her game all along. She will give you these stories. She doesn't have to suggest that you send the money to her because she knows if she gets you right in the heart that you're going to send it anyway. So as I said earlier, if you have the rule in place that you're not going to send her money until you move through the chatmate stage, through to the dating stage where you really feel that you know her a lot better because you spent a good amount of time in person, then you may start to send some money. Now, if you want to send money before that, that's totally on you. Go ahead and do it. But don't call out that she scammed you. She may be, as I say, attempting to scam you, but you're allowing the scam to happen. So really, I ask the question, can anyone really be scammed by a Filipina? For those guys who have been scammed, in inverted commas, by a Filipina, give me your story below in the comments. And of course, if you're looking for more information about love scams in the Philippines, be sure to check out the card appearing on screen now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video around. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.